Welcome back to the EasyMed channel where medical and science topics are made easy. This video will be an overview to antihypertensive medications which are used to treat high blood pressure. In the next 15 or 16 minutes, you're going to save yourself a lot of time in studying. You'll learn the main classes of antihypertensives along with tricks to remember what those classes are and several tricks to remember the drug names, example medications, and mechanism of action of each class. I also made this chart to make it easy for you. And by the end of this video, you'll know everything shown. So make sure to watch the entire video, as it will save you a lot of time studying and reviewing. Let's first start by giving you a trick to remember the main antihypertensive classes. Antihypertensive medications are used to treat high blood pressure, also known as hypertension. The easy way to remember the main antihypertensive classes is to use A, B, C, D. A will stand for several different antihypertensive medications, the first one being angiotensin-converting enzyme inhibitors, also known as ACE inhibitors. The second A stands for angiotensin II receptor blockers, also known as ARBs, and the final A stands for alpha blockers. Moving on to B, this will help you remember beta blockers. The C will stand for calcium channel blockers. Finally, the D is to help you remember diuretics. While there are other antihypertensive medications out there, these are the main ones and generally the more common ones. You might also learn about central agonists and vasodilators. You can use the C to remember central agonists, and you can use the D to remember dilators for vasodilators. So as you can see, this gives you a great way to organize the main antihypertensive drug classes, so write this down and keep it in your notes. Now that we've learned an easy way to remember the main classes shown in the first column, let's learn an easy way to remember the drug names within each class. There's a simple trick for this using the suffix of each medication. ACE inhibitors usually end in pril. ARBs typically have the suffix sartan, alpha blockers end in osin, and many of the alpha blockers specific to treating hypertension end in zosin with a Z. The suffix osin or zosin apply to selective alpha-1 blockers. There are also non-selective alpha-1 and alpha-2 blockers, and they typically end in mine or mine. Some examples include phentolamine and phenoxybenzamine. They're usually considered in treating pheochromocytoma and cocaine-induced hypertension, but since they're used more for catecholamine-induced hypertension, we'll focus on selective alpha-1 antagonists for purposes of this video. The alpha blocker video will go into more detail on both the selective and non-selective types of alpha blockers, so just make sure you're aware that osin applies to selective alpha-1 blockers. Moving on to beta blockers, they have the suffix LOL,